In this video, we're going to look at border color and text color. So it is possible to put a border color around the background, but it might look a little bit weird. So we're going to just concentrate on some H1 tags, P tags, and H2 tags. So what we need to do is just create some of those in the index page. So here we are. We have our index page open, and it's the same as the last lesson. So if we go to our style page, I've deleted the gradient color. If I run this again, that will now be just a plain color. It just makes the code a little bit easier to read. So let's go back to our index page and let's just write a little bit of text. So I'm going to say open tag H1. Remember, these are the arrow brackets next to the M key on your keyboard. So once you've opened a tag, you do need to close it. So I tend to just close it straight away. Okay, so that way in between now I can write in. So I can say this is a title. Okay, and now we have our H1. If I run it just to make sure it works, we can see that that works. So let's just start by adding a background color for this and then going through the other bits, because now we've got it, we can actually do stuff to it. So let's head back on over to our style sheet and let's add another CSS code. So I'm just going to put a little gap between my last one. I'm going to call up the code that I need, or the tag that I need, which is the H1. Now this is going to tell the CSS page to link to the index page and find the H1 tag. Now if you had 10 H1 tags, it would find them all and add this style to all of them. Okay, so it's important to note that. Now next to the P button, let's just open a curly bracket and then just press the enter button just to create that space. I much prefer this format. As you start adding more styles, it does make it a lot easier to read. So let's start by adding another background. So let's just say background, and then we need the colon, and then we need a color. So I'm just going to say black, and then I need a semicolon, and then that's the whole code. Now because I'm using black, what this will actually do is it will hide all of this text. So let's do that now, and you can see now the text is gone. So now I need to do some other stuff to kind of make it come back. So let's start by adding some text color. So in order to add text color, all we're going to do is call up the word color. Now for us, this is spelt the American way, so it's color without the U. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you try and spell it color the English way with the U, it won't work. So then you need a colon, and let's just say white. Okay, keep it nice and simple, and then refresh. So now you can see the text color is white just by using this color, and the background is black. Now the other thing we can do is add a border. So the border is ever so slightly different. The actual formatting for a border is ever so slightly different. So we're going to say border colon. Now the first thing we need to say is how wide the border is. So let's just say the border is 5 pixels, so px. And then the next we need to define the style of the border. So the most common style is solid, but you can also you can also have dotted, you can also have dashed, and there's a few others that you can have as well, but solid's the most common one. So we've got 5 pixel border that is solid, and now we need to define the color. So the color we're going to define is going to be, let's give it a nice radical color of red. There we go. But once again, you can, for any of these colors, you can also use hexadecimal, and I also believe you can use the gradient as well if you want to try that. So let's run that, and now what you're going to see is this border. We can also do a few other things to this to make it look a little bit prettier, but we're going to try and keep this really simple. So the next mission for you guys is to do these 3 things, make it look as pretty as you can, of course, and then I'd like you to add a H2 tag and a P tag as well. So it's exactly the same, so if you want to stop the video now, you can. If you want to watch me add the H2 tag and the P tag, you can also do that. So I'm going to head back onto this one. I'm going to add the H2 tag. Don't forget, you do need to close the H1 tag, and then you do need to close the H2 tag, and I'm just going to say this is a subtitle. Okay, and then just run it to make sure everything worked, so we can see that's worked, which is great. And let's just do one more for a P tag as well. So just like last week when we added these three. So open the P tag and then close it. Now these arrows are the ones next to the P on your keyboard. So I'm just going to say this is a paragraph. Okay. And then just refresh it to make sure that works. Fantastic. And then we're just going to do exactly the same to these ones and just see if we can get the same styling. So we're going to go back into style. Now I'm going to put a little space after this unit here, and this time we're going to say H2 and then the curly brackets next to the P, and then we're going to say background. And then this time we're going to go to the color picker. So let me come up to here and go color picker. And let's just choose a color. Let's go green. And let's choose the hexadecimal. Remember, you do need the hashtag. So Control C, then Control V, and then semicolon to finish off. And let's just make sure that works. And there we go, we have that color in. You can also use the gradient as well, and I'll use the gradient for the paragraph tag just to show you that. Now we can color our text, so we just say color, and then the text color, let's go and choose another awesome color. Let's choose something like that. Grab the hexadecimal along with the hashtag, Control C, and then Control V to paste, semicolon at the end. If you do forget the semicolon at the end, it will break your code, so don't forget that. And then finally, let's do the border. Now for this, I'm just going to copy this line of code, Control C, Control V, so we have border, colon, and we can change this. Let's change that to 10 pixels. Let's say dotted, and let's oh, here we go, we've got another color picker here. Let's choose something like this, and this is the RGB color this time, and let's run that, and there we go, we've got a dotted one. It's a bit weird, but you know, just to show you that you can do these things. Now the final one we need to do is this paragraph, and let's see if we can use the gradient for this one. So we're going to start with a P, then next to the P on your keyboard, the curly bracket, and then enter, and then we want background, colon. Now let's head on over to the gradient. Now remember, I typed in the Google search engine with CSS gradient. The one that I'm using here, which hopefully works in school, is cssgradient.io. So let's do a few things. Let's change this color here. Let's select this one and change it to this color. And let's add another color. Now I found out that you just click to add another color just like that, and we'll change it to that color there. So it's a bit of a random color, but that's fine. You can also make it radial, which I found out as well. If you want to change it into this radial, you can do that. So let's copy both lines of this code. Press Control C to copy. Head on back here. Now let's press Control V. I'm going to tab that one in. Let's just refresh it to see if that worked. And it did. We have that awesome color there. So let's move on to the next one. So now we need the color of the text, which I'm going to make white. I'm not sure if the gradient will work with the color. You're more than welcome to try it if you want to. And then finally, we're just going to add a border, and I'm just going to copy this border again, Control C, and we're going to try and add a gradient to the border as well. And once again, I'm not sure that it will work, so I'm not going to do that, but you're more than welcome to replace that with this one. I'm just going to say blue. Okay, we're going to refresh to make sure that works. Now that is your mission for this lesson. It's just to make sure, or for this part of the lesson, task 2, is to make sure that all 3 elements on your index page, so your H1, your H2 and your P tag, all have these styles. So they should all have a background style, a text color style and a border style.